Samanan tumelang mulweni abushini di macharoni. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, good day, goeiedag, alweer, masterkinders. My name is Winston and welcome back to my channel, Bushies Badboer. On this channel, we discuss everything relating to small-scale farming and those small projects that you can do yourself, save on some money, and enjoy the fruit of your labor. You can also use what we share with you on this channel to start that side hustle and a small business and maybe even turn it into an empire. But in this video today, I'm going to give you an update on our green peppers that we've planted. So you remember, guys, the I'm gonna leave a link over here, the video that I shared that I made where I was experimenting with green peppers, with germinating green pepper seeds. So those it's like this cat. There's those you can see he's trying to get my attention again. He's like following me like a puppy. This one, everywhere I go. He wants me to pick him up. But you guys remember that those seeds, they actually germinated and they grew very nicely. I planted them out, and I actually planted them in pots, and I placed them in strategic places because I wanted to experiment the the exposure to sunlight. The problem now that I'm facing is that I've done that very late in the in summer, and we are in autumn right now, and the frost is actually killing my plants. But let me give you the first update of how the pepper plants look like. So this is the first one. You guys remember that that pot with the tomatoes? It still has tomatoes. We took some off. It took some off, and it's still growing some more tomatoes over there and some over there. And you can see there's one over here growing. So it's still producing some tomatoes. I must just take off all these dead leaves here that's dying, because it's actually taking out all the nutrients that's supposed to go to the tomatoes. But right underneath, in the same pot, there's like two pepper plants. This is the one plant, and you can see one pepper growing over there and one over there. And if I go this way, I'll show you the other plant over here, and this one was the first. This was actually the first pepper plant that grew. So the first pepper that grew. And this spot I placed in a spot where it will get. It's about Saturday morning now. It's quarter to 10 in the morning, and you can see that it's only getting its sunlight right now around quarter to 10. That's when it gets its sun. So it's also like shaded by the tomato plant. So the exposure to sun, so it does not get so much sun that it's supposed to. It only gets partial sun. Let me go to the next one. I'll show you what that looks like. So this is another pot that I have behind one of the tree. I don't know what tree this is. It never produced anything. We're still waiting to see what that is. I'm still gonna treat these trees. So I placed it here, and you can see I placed 4 plants in this pot over here and this cat. And then you can see the small peppers forming right now. It's still growing right now. There's like I can see 3 on this plant over here. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3 behind this leaf. And obviously my cat Felix. And then also here the others are still flowering. If you can just move now, and you can see there's still more flowers growing. So we can expect some more peppers from this one. Now this one, you can see it actually gets some sun right now. The sun starts right now, but in the afternoon, when the sun is right above the tree, then it will be in shade. So it will get morning sun, but in the afternoon it will get a little bit it will get more shade towards the afternoon. So this is where I placed this one. Let me go to another one. Now this one only gets sun round about 12 o'clock, because this big tree actually blocks the sun and it gets morning shade. But you can see that there's a couple of plants here, but there's also a couple of green peppers growing there. Very nice green peppers forming, and there's also one there and there, and there's still a lot more flowers budding, and it will probably produce some more peppers. I don't know how big they will grow. We will see, and I'll give you an update later in this video. But you can see that the frost and the cold at night, it's actually hurting my leaves, and it's like dying down. You can see it's dying down already because of the cold. It's actually very cold in this area. We are in it's the 30th of April today, and it's actually very cold here, and you can see what the cold does to the leaves. But let me go to the other plants and I'll show you what that looks like. And just to give you an idea of it, because it's autumn right now, you can see all the leaves falling, the trees are shedding the leaves, and those are 3 pot plants that I placed, and they get full sun. So they'll get sun from the morning, but once it goes to the afternoon, around about 3-4 o'clock, it will get shade. And also it's exposed to the frost at night, so some of them are also dying down. So you can see that how these are 4 plants in this pot. It's actually dying down, and I don't even, there's some flowers forming, but there's actually no peppers in this pot. There's four plants, but there's no, with a lot of flowers budding, but there's no peppers growing. This one has 2, and you can see how it's actually falling over, but there's also some flower buds, and but there's also no peppers growing. So this is just basically it's just an experiment, because I want to move this. I actually want to move this over to the greenhouse. But this one over here, it's also dying down. There is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants in this pot. The mug is in my eyes. Yeah. And you can see there's a nice big pepper growing over here. You can just focus on what we can see. It's a bit dark, but there's some more peppers growing over there. But these plants are actually dying, so I'm gonna move these pots, the pots that's small enough to move. I'm gonna move them over to the greenhouse and see if I can save them, and for them to produce more peppers for the rest of the autumn and winter, going into winter. And then I still have these plants over here in this container. Remember that villa owls that I took out from there? They were planted at the same time. There's still one more plant. It has an owner. I had 3 left that I had to give away. The 2 left already. The owner just needs to come, and the other owner just needs to come and fetch that one. And I'm willing to give away this one as well, if you want a villa owls plant. And then we have a couple years, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We have 12 pepper plants in this pot only. So I don't wanna plant them over now. I don't wanna give the plants some shock by transplanting them. But you can actually see that it's budding. It's budding, and because it's under this one big tree over here, it's actually protecting it from frost. So the flowers are still, the leaves are still healthy. And it's now starting to produce flower late, because these ones do not get direct sunlight, or it gets like partial direct sunlight, but a very little sunlight during the day. So that's why the buds are only starting right now, and I think the bees and the butterflies are pollinating it right now. So I'm gonna leave these ones I'm gonna leave here, or the only ones that I'm gonna move are these 3. And yeah, only these 3, and the big one I'm going to leave there. But I'll see if we can save these plants, because there's like 5, 9, 10, 11 plants, and you will see if it survives. So I'll give you an update on what the peppers look like in a couple of days, or maybe a week's time or so. So with a frost that just hit us, with a cold front that hit us, I believe this is the end of our green pepper video. You'll see that the cold is actually killing the plants. So just like I mentioned, that I don't know if it's gonna grow, because it was too late, and you can see that it's very soggy, so there's actually no use in keeping these green peppers on the plant. You can see that tomato plant is also dying. So we're gonna take off the tomatoes. They are big enough, so they are nice and big enough, and then I'll take them inside, like the other video that I showed you how to harvest tomatoes. We'll take these off. They are nice and big enough. Here's one hanging over here. It's already blushing, so it's already turning like light green. So I'm gonna take it in and let it ripen inside. And here are some smaller tomatoes over here. These ones will definitely not make it, but these smaller ones here, I'll take them inside. And then the green pepper over here, I'll just take out the plant. Let me show you how the others look like. So this is the toilet cistern also with the 4 plants. There was like one over here, there was one green growing here, there was a small one starting over here, and there were like 3 on the small plant. But like I say, the frost is killing them. So this is the pot that was behind this tree. So this tree would like partly shade it in the morning, and then it will get partly sun, and then once the sun is right in on top, it will get a little bit of sun. And once the sun faces that way a little bit, then it gets full sun for an hour or so, and it still grew. So partial sun, so what we can take away from this is partial sun, partial shade, and your green peppers will also grow. It's just the cold. Let's go over to the other one. So this is the pot that was actually shaded by that tree over there. You can see it's empty, it's naked by now, so it would be blocked from morning sun. It will only get afternoon sun, and it would still grow, because here's almost every plant had a pepper. Actually, every plant did have a pepper, they all just died. So this one, you can see that it's like soggy, it will be no use. This one is dying, all of them are dying over there. There's another one, and there's another one. So all of them are dying right now because of the frost. So what we can take away from this one is that even with afternoon sun, midday sun, from half day sun until this time of the day, it will get sun. It's about, let me see what's now, it's 5 o'clock. So, and the sun is just about there, so it still gets sun. So partial sun, it will still grow, right? And now we are in the pot where I put the green. I actually left it in this pot over here, and it was in shade, so it will get daylight but not direct sunlight. And what I can tell you is that your green peppers will still grow, because this plant was actually very healthy. There was like 4 or 5 on this plant already. There was like 1 there. Every single plant was starting to grow a green pepper, even in the shade. That one over there also had one starting to grow, and then the frost came, and then it just killed my plants. So what I can tell you is the myth is that pepper only grows in full to half sun. It needs direct sunlight. These plants over here were in shade all the time. They will get daylight but not direct sunlight, and they were still growing. So I don't know, use it, don't use it, but this was just an experiment to show, to kind of like experiment with different kind of light exposure. And then of course it's the 3 let me put it like this, it's the 3 pots that I took out. These were out in the open, so they actually grew nicely, but again the frost came and killed it. So I moved it under, this garden of mine, the little garden of mine, I moved it under the shade, remember? So the frost even in here is relentless, because these peppers, this one is still firm, so I will leave it and maybe see how it goes. But you can see that the rest of the plant is just dying. I've been watering it, but it's just not taking too well to the cold. So green pepper and cold, that is not something you want to do. So there's like 2 more, there's like 2 small ones. I doubt it will grow further, but let's leave these ones and see what happens to it. This one is completely naked. The frost killed it, This one is also, there's no pepper growing there. The frost killed them also. They're as small as they were, you can see here. It tried to start, but it just died. The other one just fell off, I think. Yeah, so we tried to start something, but it just fell off. So that's our green pepper project. So guys, that's our green pepper project. Yes, it's cold. I'm wearing a beanie. It's winter, so the cold front just hit us. So let's just summarize this project, right? I had a pot in behind the tree, or I got a two behind the tree, so the tree will kind of like block some of the shade or some of the sun, or give it more shade, and then the sun will only, two of them will get a little bit of sunlight in the morning, blocked in the midday sun, and late afternoon it will get sun again. The one was blocked from the sun in the morning, and then it will get direct sunlight from the afternoon. Those still grow. Your green pepper will still grow if you expose it to light like that. There's one that was exposed, there's a pot that had no light at all, no direct sunlight at all, only daylight, no sunlight. It still grew. There is the ones that were under the shade, but this it gets direct sunlight. It's just shaded by the net, like by the net over there, but it still gets direct sunlight. It's just the frost that killed it. So different sunlight, it will, so green pepper, it will grow as long as it gets daylight. Does not have to have direct sunlight, but as long as it gets daylight. That's what I take from this. That was just a project. With the next planting season, obviously I'm going to plant it in this garden over here. You know, this garden of mine, I've been mulching it. You can see as I collect dry leaves and rake it up, I dump it in here as a matter of as mulch. So during the winter we'll still keep watering it. That mulch will break down and become compost, and then we'll grow. But my green peppers, the next planting season, will be planted in this garden. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me the thumbs down. If you have any questions, suggestions, tips or tricks, leave them in the comment section down below, and don't forget to subscribe. That's it from me for now. Keep safe, stay warm, stay blessed. Away.